Hey, what's up everyone, and well, I'm back to do another top 10 list, and this time it's on theme park attractions. Not just any type of theme park attractions, but simulator rides. Yes. This is a rather debatable and controversial topic because, well, simulator rides have become a more common thing nowadays. Most theme park attractions, when you visit like Universal Studios and Disney World primarily, are known for great attractions based off of cartoons and movies and stuff that you probably are well familiar with, and most of them are known for having practical effects which make you feel like you're really there. Well, simulator and 3D attractions are kind of a lazy way out from most people's perspective, and most people think it's, well, kind of lazy and half-assed to make a ride and make it feel like you're really there when it's not really in front of you. Yeah, you're just watching a screen. But for the most part, yeah, there are some lousy 3D and simulator attractions that are, well, not great, but then there's also some really great ones, and that's what I'm here to talk about. Yep, I'm here to talk about my top 10, in my opinion, people, the ones that I think are the best simulator attractions. And yes, on this list, I'm also going to include defunct attractions, because there are some really good ones that used to be around, and a few honorable mentions here and there as well. So, again, keep in mind, people, this is just my opinion, but I think most of you can agree on me. So, let's get to it, starting with Number 10. Star Tours. Disney's Hollywood Studios, formerly known as MGM's version. Based off Star Wars, well, this is basically a revamped version that is still operating even to today, and many other versions are operating in many other Disney parks, because like Universal, it's a chain-operated theme park. And yep, Star Wars is a pretty popular thing. It was obviously altered and changed to fit in with the newer Star Wars films, which most people can agree are not the most favorites compared to the original, unaltered and without all that crappy CGI versions, but it's still a pretty great simulator ride. And it's different every time you go on it, surprisingly. Yeah, I'm not a big Star Wars fan myself, but this was pretty fun, and with the new expansion opening at Disney's Hollywood Studios, or also known as Galaxy's Edge, to be exact, it's going to be phenomenal when it opens this summer. I mean, I can't say much more there, but this is still a pretty good attraction, even after all the renovations. Well, may the force be strong with this one. Number 9. Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera, formerly at Universal Studios Florida only. Yeah, it was one of the opening day attractions because when Universal Studios Florida first opened, most of the rides with practical and animatronic effects had a lot of technical problems like confrontation, Jaws, Earthquake, which all these rides sadly aren't there anymore, but once they got them up and running the right way, they were awesome. And this one was ambitious for its time because, well, none of it was animatronic. Based off, of course, the famous cartoons that most of you from the 60s and 70s probably grew up and remember watching, like the Flintstones, Jetsons, Scooby-Doo, Yogi Bear, and Wacky Races and so forth. Yeah, these were classics. You can catch most of them on Boomerang, and a lot of them are released on DVD nowadays. So, yeah, these were classics. This is what it was like before, of course, Jimmy Neutron took over this one, which is also defunct. And it was pretty fun for the most part. It didn't malfunction, and it was a big hit. But over the years, it sadly kind of lost its luster, so in came Nickelodeon's Jimmy Neutron, and no coincidence since Nickelodeon Studios is, well, right next to this one. Or I should say it was formerly next to this one. Yep, that also too is gone. I'll miss you, Nickelodeon. You were my childhood, especially from the 90s, the golden age. Number 8. Mission Space at Epcot. Yeah, this is an Epcot-only attraction, which of course replaced Horizons, and that too was a great attraction from what I've heard, and there are some homages to it that you probably would take note of. But anyway, not to get too carried away, yes, this attraction opened up as just one version of it, and it was pretty damn intense, and not to confuse with Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom and of course Disneyland over in California, which both of these are obviously roller coasters. The track layouts are similar, except for in comparison to Paris's version, Disneyland. But yeah, this is specifically a simulator to make you feel like you're blasting off into space and landing on Mars. The ride was really realistic feeling and intense, with a lot of G-force, and it made people sick. In fact, that's what the main criticism with the ride was. It got so much criticism with that, it ended up actually causing 2 deaths in real life. So, what do? rather than avoiding lawsuits and more trouble, they made a less intense version, the green version, and they changed the ride over the years. You know, the narrators and people that do the introductions just before you're entering the ride during the pre-show. And, well, the orange version is the more intense one, and the green version is the less intense one. Not to mention the orange one, which is more intense, has more G-force, goes to Mars. The green one only goes over Earth, and it's less spinning and G-force and stuff. So, check them both out if you want to, but if you're looking for a more laid-back attraction, go for the green one. It's pretty fun. May not have as much G-force and intensity, but it's almost out of this world. And it's a fun attraction. The design to it, just check out my attraction review on Epcot, and you'll see right there why this is so much fun. Number 7. Transformers 3D The Ride, which first opened at Universal Studios Hollywood in place of Backdraft, and eventually making its way to Universal Studios Florida right by the entrance, in place of what used to be Murder, She Wrote, which eventually was Xena and Hercules. And, well, then the building remained abandoned, and what do you know, Universal was more than meets the eye with this one. And it is a really awesome ride. If you go to the Florida's park, well, it's very similar to the Web Slingers attraction. Spoiler alert there. And, yeah, it's fun. It's got all the robots and everything that you remember from the movies. Yeah, I know, it's based off a lackluster Michael Bay franchise, which has gotten pretty ridiculous, but thankfully is finally dead. And, well, but we got this awesome reboot that will almost make us forget about it. Yeah, that's right. This is a reboot, not a prequel. Most people are confused with that, but don't let that fool you. This is a great attraction with some great special effects, some awesome 3D feel, and even some cool heat sensor stuff that makes you feel like missiles are being fired right in front of you. It definitely shows that, once again, Universal is more than meets the eye. Number 6. The Simpsons Drive. Yeah. Obviously, most of us were skeptical on seeing how Back to the Future was going to get replaced with something that's not Universal and is owned by Fox, which I find funny how Disney bought them out about a year or so ago, and now the deal is finalized. But thankfully, I worried for nothing, and most of us did, because this ride was, as Mr. Burns would call, excellent. That's right. A trip through Krusty Land turns into a fight for survival when Sideshow Bob is on yours and the Simpsons' tail, and, well, trying to kill them. And it's adventurous, it's thrilling, it's funny, and there's some pretty cool effects, like when the giant mutated Maggie puts you in her mouth and they spray baby powder in the air. I mean, it's just great. Yep, that's right, Homer. You can go woohoo on this attraction. It is great. And there's even a paid homage to the Back to the Future ride as well, with Doc Brown making an appearance in Simpsons form during the pre-show. So that alone tells you that they gave all the care and love to this ride, as well as what we used to be in its place. So, if you don't like it, that's fine, but it's based off one of my favorite shows that's been on for so many years and is still going, and I'm surprised it hasn't ended yet. Because really, it has kind of lost its luster, but this ride, on the other hand, hasn't lost it since it opened. Number 5. Back to the Future The Ride. Okay, yes. I would be blackballed if I didn't include this one, because this is one of my favorite movie trilogies of all time, and it's one of the best. I mean, great Scott, was this ride awesome. Yeah. Originally, this was going to be conceived as a roller coaster ride, but they figured, yeah, there's no way in hell this would have ever worked as that. I mean, because, yeah, you go in the DeLorean, almost kind of loosely based off the second movie, because, well, it's the only one where the DeLorean flies, and you go into the future, you know, the Stone Age, the Dinosaur Age, the Lava Age, and so forth, and you're chasing after the villainous Biff, which I think is from the 1950s, obviously, it appears to be. And, yeah, it was a thrilling experience. I am sad to see it go, but it was starting to show its age quite a bit, and, well, yeah, it's a great reign of nostalgia right there. And, yeah, the first time going on it, when I was 5 in 1993, it was amazing. And then when I went on it again, when I was 16, it was still cool. But, again, it was starting to show its age, and it was time for a little update here and there. Not saying this ride needed to get removed. I mean, the Simpsons ride is great, and the homage to it in the pre-show is great, but it was very sad to see this thing go. So, yep, thanks for a hell of a great ride, Doc. You certainly did your part, and, well, if you want to be able to see footage on this ride, I'm sure there's plenty on YouTube of the pre-shows and everything, and you can also get it in the Back to the Future Blu-ray trilogy set as well. You've got a couple options there. still pretty fun, but, well, unfortunately you can't ride it anywhere. Not even in Japan's park, unfortunately. So, thanks for an awesome ride, Doc Brown, once again. It's a great ride, and, well, I'm glad I got to go on it when I did. Number 4, The Amazing Spider-Man in 3D. Located at Universal Studios Japan and Universal's next door park, Islands of Adventure in the Marvel Comics section. And this was pretty amazing. I mean, yeah, Spider-Man is one of the greatest Marvel superheroes of all time. And I already mentioned briefly about this attraction, and it's how very similar it is to Transformers 3D The Ride. It's pretty much the same exact design, except it's Spider-Man. And it came years before that one came around too as well. So, you gotta give the credits for this one first for being there before the giant robots came around to fight and make Earth a battleground for their attraction. So, yeah, you're alongside the web slinger battling across one of the most famous villains in the Big Apple itself, even a Stan Lee cameo, rest in peace my man by the way, and even went through a major refurbishment from 2011 to 2012. But either way, before and even after its major refurbishment, it was always awesome, making you feel like you're jumping from rooftop to rooftop, 3D effects like it's coming in your face, the heat effects from Dr. Octavius' machine, yeah, sound familiar? And the water effects from Hydro Man coming right in your face, yeah, literally water gets thrown on you. And that ending scene when you feel like you're falling, man, it is a real thrill. So all I can say is, Spider-Man can do what a Spider-Man can, and that is make an awesome attraction. Number 3, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Yes, part of the Big Wizarding World expansion which started in Universal Studios Islands of Adventure, and then eventually made its way to Hollywood Park, and then Japan's park. But yeah,